Hi, my name's Tyler Riordan. I'm a PhD candidate in the Business School and School of Social Sciences here at UQ. Today, I'll be presenting my honours research in anthropology, which was also here at UQ. For this project, I spent time with African refugee youth. In this project, we found that African refugee youth are agents of change who settle well. They improve their own and their peers' well-being through acts of agency. Enjoy. Hello. Did you know that what happens after resettlement has a greater impact on the well-being of refugee youth than what has happened prior to displacement? This means that the community involvement and participation of African refugee youth in Australia is extremely important. Our research has found that participation in education and community activities can help African refugee youth to improve well-being and settle well. We found that this cohort value education and employment, see themselves as agents of change, and develop strategies to improve their own and their peers' lives. Good morning. My name is Tyler Riordan. I'm a PhD candidate here at the University of Queensland in Hospitality and Anthropology. I also work in the Business School and the School of Social Science. Today I'm going to share with you a paper which is based on my honours research from a few years ago. And coincidentally, it was just published last week in the Journal of Youth Studies and was co-authored by my former supervisor, Dr. Fernando Claudio, who's now at McGill University in Canada. Please get in touch if you'd like to receive a copy. I also want to take this chance to recognise the contribution of the young people who are involved in the research, as well as the African community members and organisations who helped facilitate this study. Now, onto the research. Outside educational settings, there's limited research on the well-being and agency of African refugee youth in Queensland. The aim of this research was to investigate the barriers that African refugees face in the resettlement context. And we also wanted to know how involvement in the community impacted on their well-being. So as you see on the screen there, well-being refers to the capacity and agency of individuals to live or be well. While well-being is a subjective state, it is also influenced by the external social environment. So for individuals, primary contributors to well-being include good health, happiness, safety, security, education, employment, belonging, social inclusion, opportunities that are available to them, life satisfaction, and positive relationships with others, including family. Now, obviously, these wellbeing concerns are especially salient for youth who are already in a state of transition during adolescence. So how did we go about it? So we took an ethnographic approach. This involved participant observation at a range of community events and activities, and I also volunteered at a homework club for young refugees, including Africans. I also recruited 11 young people for semi-structured interviews. So their details are up on the screen there. They come from 8 different countries and have varying lengths of time in Australia, as well as periods of time in other countries, but prior to resettlement. And finally, I spoke to key stakeholders, including representatives from schools and settlement services. So what did we find out? So first of all, this cohort do face a range of challenges which negatively affect their well-being. Young females report curtailed freedom due to extra domestic responsibilities, cultural norms, and family pressure. While these additional expectations can be limiting, some engage in the community as a way of challenging their gender roles. However, as I told you at the start, female and male participants generally settle well. They recognise that positive engagement with the community through places such as school, the church, and sport, for example, have a positive impact on their well-being. This quote from Peter, these are all pseudonyms, by the way. demonstrates how community participation helps him to not feel sad and also gives him the chance to talk and share with others. Participants also revealed the ways in which they take it upon themselves to support each other, particularly newcomers. So I've included this quote from Eric as an example of how participants show mutual aid by helping each other. So in this case, giving information about jobs, scholarships, they also offer each other rides, as in free transport, other kind of support to help people settle in when they first arrive. So what does it all mean? Well, refugee youth can be disempowered in the resettlement context, but many young African refugees in Brisbane are able to settle well, and participants show us that they use their agency to overcome the challenges they encounter in Australian society, and this in turn leads to positive wellbeing. Young Africans are motivated to improve the circumstances for refugee newcomers through the creation of supportive environments. By drawing on their own strength and resilience, African refugee youth strengthen communities and provide benefits to the well-being of others. Young women in particular choose education and leadership to overcome their barriers. They use African female role models, such as the then President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, for inspiration and hope, and as an expression of agency. And finally, young African refugees recognise the important role that education can have to not only secure employment, but also as an enabler of positive individual and community well-being. While there are many worthwhile studies by non-African scholars, and that includes this one, the field and Australian society more generally will be enhanced through the inclusion of more former African refugees to tell their own stories. Thank you very much for your time. I'll leave you with this quote from Eric. So young people are the future of our country and the future of our community. That's why I try to do things which pull them together. Please get in touch if you'd like to know more about this project, or if you're interested in my PhD on experiences of migrant workers who deliver food in the gig economy. Thank you.